We're snorting cap rates and shooting up cash flow here at Deal Junkies. Welcome back to Deal Junkies. Hi, Trevor.
What's up, Gabe?
Mike, are you okay?
No, dude.
Oh, Mike.
I might just listen.
Perfect, because you talked a lot last time.
I did talk a lot.
Mike really opened up in the last episode. I enjoyed it.
That is the true Mike.
That was cathartic. Or was that the right word? Therapeutic? I don't know. Mike's healing. This is Mike's healing stage.
I need it. Lord knows I need some fucking healing.
Hey, you should contact my trainer guy, and then he will do online training. I don't know how many times I got to tell you, but
I don't need a trainer. I know what to do. I need to make a decision and do it.
Yeah, he'll
hold you accountable.
He'll hold you accountable. Like, it's costs you nothing, and you would be fit in 6 months or less.
I'll be fit in 6 months or less without him.
No, because you said that 6 months ago.
Yeah,
now
I
Trevor's
was in fucking depression 6 months ago.
Mike, just listen to me.
Isn't depression and like fitness sort of tied together? Like
Yep.
you do this whole thing where you're like, if I actually worked out, I would feel better, but I feel bad, so I'm not going to work out because I'm tired. And
yeah, it's a spiral.
It's way better to pay for help on all these things, coaches and teachers and everything.
For me, I have to get it on my calendar. I got to pay somebody else to like this morning. I have a gal that shows up. I was like, for like 10 years, I've been going, man, I felt great when I did yoga. I need to do yoga again, and then I never did yoga. I'm like, honey, let's go to a yoga class. Well, we never made it to a yoga class. So finally, I was just like, my schedule changed a little bit. And I'm like, I'm hiring somebody to come to my house on this day at this time to teach me yoga.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't cost that much more than just going and doing it somewhere else. So I pay this gal. She comes to my house. It's like I wake up this morning. Jan's like, you better get out of bed. The yoga gal's coming.
Nice.
And I get up and I do yoga. And guess what? I feel amazing. But like, it's on my calendar. I paid for it. She shows. There's no choice. I can't. She's not going to show up at my house and I'm going to go, hey, I don't want to get out of bed.
I could do I could do all these weightlifting things on my own too, and I know all of it, and I already worked out, and I have tremendous results from it, and think less about it and spend less time.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I hired a trainer in 2019 when I
you should just hire a trainer.
Body recomp.
Then you can have fun, and they take your mind off of it a little bit, and I don't know.
I want to get to a certain point. Like, I'm not a gym mentality right now, and part of my struggle has been, do I do yoga or do I go to the gym?
Do both. Yeah. Don't even go to the gym. Just have somebody come do it at your house.
I just started doing push-ups again.
Well, that's part of it. Your body needs more than just push-ups.
Dude, I was so bad that I would, like, not even real push-ups, like on your knees push-ups and like 20 squats. And the first time I did it, like a couple weeks ago, I did it. Dude, I was so sore. I could barely walk. My leg, it felt like I did leg day, and I did freaking air squats.
I know what you should do. You should call Jan.
Yeah, I should.
She'll just tell you. She won't have you work out. She'll tell you what you should be doing, and you decide whether you do it yourself or if you want to have.
I already talked to Jan. I just wasn't ready to take action.
You weren't ready. Are you ready now?
Yeah,
to take action.
I am now. Yeah.
Let's call her right now.
That was
on the show.
The great part of going to that event was, dude, nothing but good food. I calorie control, really good food. My insides feel better now than they have in a while.
You know, I used to say that you can't put a price tag on feeling good.
Yeah.
Like just being in shape, eating the right foods. Yesterday, I decided I made a bad decision. I was with Paul. When me and Paul are together,
you ate some junk.
When me and Paul are together, it's bad because we're like, oh, should we be good, or it's always like, no, we should be bad. So I order a hamburger, which is not all that bad. We're at Ritter's downtown, and normally I just don't order the fries lately. Like for the last year or two, I haven't been ordering the French fries, and so I'm like, I kind of want some French fries, and I'm just not going to eat them all. That's going to be my thing. I'm going to order them, but I'm not going to eat them all. So I ordered them with French fries, and I ate probably not even half of the French fries that were on the plate because they give you so many. And literally the rest of the day, I felt miserable. I had a headache. I had low energy. I was like, that was not worth it.
Yeah, but
at all.
You know what? People don't realize, like that's the average person's baseline.
Yeah, they don't realize they feel like crap. Yeah,
they don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, and once you start to feel good, you don't realize how good you feel until you go back to some bad habits.
I've been having to sleep less the healthier I eat, and I just wake up like full of energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
How much do you sleep at night?
like I was normally doing 8+ and I could sleep for a while and set an alarm, and now I haven't been doing anything and just been eating healthy and working out, and I've been like getting down to like set.
Are you going to bed at a normal time? Because you used to just be like, I don't care what time I go to bed, I'm going to get my 8 hours no matter what.
Oh no, I would try to set a bedtime alarm, but if I missed it for whatever reason, I would change my whole schedule for the next day to make sure I get the sleep.
Do you track your sleep?
No, I just make sure I was sleeping 8 every day. So no matter what, because I would set a 9 p.m. alarm. So because you got to remember when to go to bed. It's not about when you wake up. It's about when you go to bed.
I'm surprised that a workout guy like you that's so data driven doesn't wear like an Apple Watch or an Oura Ring or something.
Because you're tracking too much data that you're not making decisions off of. So I track just the key factors that I actually make decisions off of. So I don't need all of those data points, and it's overwhelming, and people don't do anything with them. And it doesn't matter. It's like anything, right? You can have all the information, but if you don't do anything with it, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I only track the things that are most important. It's easier, so I can consistently do it.
So you track 8 hours of sleep, or you say you don't need 8 hours?
I just do 8 hours. So I make sure I set my alarm of when to go to bed, and then if you set a time when to go to bed, it's easier, because what most people do is they have to wake up by a certain time the next day, and then they stay up too long and you don't get to sleep. So I set a time of when to go to sleep, rather.
Yeah, Dane sent me a picture of you laying in bed with your laptop the other morning.
Oh, that's because I switched my whole work schedule around so I could make sure I go to yoga every day.
He's laying in bed doing deals in the morning when he wakes up.
Yeah, I switched my whole schedule. So
he doesn't get out of bed and get ready and go sit at the computer.
I set my my laptop next to my bed. I don't even get out of bed to start the day. I do, because I changed my whole schedule.
That's what you get for listening to Alex Hormozy.
I do some emails and stuff when I'm still in bed.
Well, I did it to make sure I go to yoga class, and I figured, because I was wasting too much time driving to all these places, working out in the morning and going to yoga at night, and I needed to do them back to back, but the only class I wanted to go to was in the middle of the day at 10:30. So I pair my workouts and stuff during the middle of the workday. So I wake up and work from 6 to 9:30, then do those, then work again.
Gotcha.
And then it's just more efficient.
You've been doing yoga like 5 or 6 times a week, aren't you?
At least 4 usually, yeah.
Is that helping?
Oh, it's insane.
Dude.
Yeah.
The hot yoga?
No, I've just been doing, I do gentle yoga.
I think yoga
Oh, the gentle one?
I think it's amazing. Like, I think it's probably, besides walking, it's probably the best workout you can give yourself.
Dude, that's why it's been around for thousands of years.
They knew what they were doing.
Absolutely,
Imagine
dude.
that.
Absolutely. Dude, the Eastern religions, they knew. We're still catching up to the knowledge they had thousands of years ago.
I believe people are not evolving. I believe we're devolving.
Absolutely.
I think that the human race is getting
It's
dumber.
the Western world. You can blame it on the Western world.
French fries and Diet Coke.
The last note of that, why I like switching it to morning work, is no one's calling you before 9:30, so you have very focused 3.5 hours, and I'm way more efficient, and then I have the busy work later.
Yeah. It's cool.
Okay.
All right. So what are we going to talk about? Oh,
you had a topic.
Oh, I had a little bit of an epiphany yesterday. I was sitting there. I was hanging out with Paul, and we were talking about a number of things. You know, there's a lot going on in the world today, like the real estate market. I don't know if people really realize it. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit on the show, but it's specifically in the commercial real estate world, like Mike's talked about it, the last few years have been really, really hard. Like, we've been in a real estate recession, a commercial real estate recession. Last time around when this happened in 2008, when we had an actual real estate recession, it was a more residential. I mean, it was everything, but it was all over the place. That's the only thing anybody talked about, because your house went down in value.
It affected everybody.
Yeah. The commercial real estate world's a much smaller group, and so they don't think about
it's affected residential just as much as commercial. I think transaction volume.
Yes. Yeah. Not values.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think that, well, first off, over the last 3 years, nobody's ever got on TV and said that we're in a recession. So we feel like we're a little bit on an island, because we're like, well, wait a second, is everybody else doing fine and we're just not doing fine? Like, I mean, we're surviving, but I don't feel like we're thriving. And so there are a lot of, there's blood in the water right now. There are deals out there. It's really fun to be a buyer if you have the capital or the investors to go do deals, but it has been really, really hard. I would say definitely the hardest for me. It's my first downturn since I've been in real estate for about 14-ish years. But you read articles that say, like, in some ways, this is worse than the 2008 crash. And this is like potentially the worst real estate market we've been in like 4 decades, right? And so now I believe that we're coming to the end of something. We've hit a bottom. We're coming out the other side. But if you've made it over the last few years, congratulations. because a lot of people haven't. We've lost a lot of brokers. We've lost a lot of appraisers. We've lost a lot of lenders. We've lost a lot of builders, a lot of developers. And now the people that were in and had projects that were trying to get to the finish line, there's a lot of people getting flushed down the toilet right now. More, I don't know if a lot is the right term, but there are a lot more than I've ever heard of before in my real estate career.
Do you think, because it's kind of interesting, because like we were doing the most amount of deals we've ever done in this market cycle. I know a few other people like that.
In terms of brokering, when we were brokering, yeah, like we stopped that at the highest point, the most volume we had ever brokered. And I know a few other like lenders who have done the most volume they've ever done too. I think that for somebody like you who had an open mind and a creative strategy, you benefited from the downturn because there was no other way to put deals together. But there's other people like Alex Mora. I saw him at a thing I spoke at on Wednesday, and I was asking him like how his deal volume has been going and whatnot. He's like, dude, like I've grown the whole time. And what does he do? He's a hard money lender. Oh, yeah. Well, why? Because banks stopped lending, so hard money stepped in. But he's doing resi though. Like that's okay. So they're still lending. But I think it's more so like the individual, and like he's been generating business and putting in the effort to grow that. Yeah, I don't believe that a down market is an excuse to give up. I think that those who put their head down and decided that they were going to make money during this market did okay because you have less competition, you find other ways to succeed, and you just don't give up. So I think that the people who have gotten in trouble are people that have gotten out of their lane. And so the comment I made to Paul, and it just came out of my mouth, and then it was like one of those things, you say something and then you think and you're like, oh wow, I can't believe I just said that. That makes sense. I told him, I said I want to be a big thinker, but I don't want to be a big dreamer. And what I mean by that is I watch people over and over and over again who have these, it's amazing. They're visionaries. They have crazy ideas. They want to do these things. Maybe they get shiny object syndrome, but they step out of their lane. They find something that works, and then for whatever reason, maybe they hit a little speed bump, or they get a little bored, or they get maybe too big for their britches, and they just think like, wow, I was really good at this one thing, so I can be good at all these other things. And they just I've just watched a few guys get out of their lane lately, and I've gotten out of my lane before, and I know how hard that hurt. And so I'm like, I just want to do what we know what we're doing, and we do it. It's kind of boring. Every deal we do, we follow certain metrics, and we're trying to get into the same kind of deals. And I could see how it could easily get boring. Like it would not give you the dopamine hit that it gives you, because you buy, like Mike's getting a dopamine hit right now buying a 46 unit. After he buys that 46 unit, every 46 unit that he buys after this is not going to be as exciting as this one. Right. So then you could go like, well, I could buy 80 units, or I could buy 150 units or whatever, and maybe you get a little bit more dopamine in each bigger deal, but eventually you're like, well, maybe we should redevelop a tower or whatever, like we've talked about doing before. And then you go, but wait a second, I've never redeveloped a tower. So I just feel like, I don't know if I'll always be this way, and maybe this is just a reminder to myself to put it on recording right now, is that I want to do boring deals. I think I want to run boring businesses, and I want to buy boring buildings, and I want to build boring buildings.
You're so boring.
And I want to do it. I want to do it to a level that I'm doing such a high volume of boring that it's not boring anymore.
You should read Science of Scaling. You could be the best in the world at that.
Is this the Benjamin
party? The framework.
So
the Benjamin.
But you said you didn't really like that.
I understand the framework. And Benjamin Hardy is a lot of, like, people are fanboying over him. When I met him in 2019, he just launched Willpower Doesn't Work, and he was working on Personality Isn't Permanent, which he wrote with Dan Sullivan, who's really well-known billionaire. At 2019, he was just part of the group. Like, he hung out the entire weekend. You got to hang out with him. You got to talk to him. In January 2020, we had Ed Milet come into an event. It was in Aspen. So Ed flies in. This is right after Kobe died. So he flies in for 2 hours and flies out. And that's what Benjamin did. So I was excited because the second day I pull up and we have assigned seating, and I'm sitting next to Jay Scott, and then Benjamin Hardy's name tag's there. He didn't show up until the next day. He was there for an hour and he left.
Why does he even show up?
He actually just told Tony Robbins, no, I'm not going to write a book with you.
Oh my gosh.
And that's part of his framework, which is you need to think so far ahead that you see all the lesser paths that are keeping you from getting where you're trying to go. Mm-hmm. And so it's a framework. And what was interesting about this event was a lot of people questioned his thought process. And one of the guys was Andrew Cushman. And he's like, hey, what about being world class? Like one guy's goal was, go from 0 units, went from 0 to 27,000. And now no one knows where they are and all the projects are failed. And, right? And so... And what I appreciate about Daniel Casey, who put the event on, was it's a framework for you to get into the right mindset, for you to remove all the obstacles so you can get to where you're going. And that's what thinking so far ahead does. And the thought process is, like one of the examples he gave is one person he's coaching, which was they're 22 years old or 23 years old, and they had this goal of buying a sports team by the time they're 35. And so Ben's question to him was, well, how do you do that by the age of 30? It was age of 55. So in 33 years, you buy a sports team. And so then Benjamin said, well, what would it take to get it done at 7 at the age of 30? And, kind of the outcome is he's working on his PhD and all. And he's like, well, you have to stop doing your PhD because the PhD isn't your path that you're actually trying to go down. It's a different purpose. It's a different ego stroke. It's a different, and then ultimately it becomes a distraction to what it is that you ultimately want to do.
Yeah, it's the wrong path.
Wrong path. Yeah.
I think for us to buy all the real estate, it has to be in a very boring way. So you create the system to where we're constantly doing those deals, and then you get to step away and then pick the next asset class and repeat the same thing.
Well, it's a lot easier to systematize something that's boring.
Yes.
I mean, to me, because I think the problem with being an entrepreneur and the shiny object and then being in real estate is that you could easily go like, okay, you go buy a few boring deals in a town and then you see a building and you're like, wow, that building has so much potential. It could do this and that for the community. It could be so much fun to own it and say you own it. And, you can get wrapped up in the ego part of, well, now that I own some boring stuff around there, I could go step out of my lane. And we've seen some guys around town do this. And I root for all of them, by the way. These guys are my friends. I want them to win. I certainly am not the naysayer that's like, oh, I hope they fail and this thing sucks. I think everything they do, I hope it works. I just see so much downside risk in what they do because you're dreaming about what could be and you don't really have a good business plan. Like, to me, dreaming is not a good business plan. It's like, we bought this at a very low basis. We really hope that one day we're going to get a cool user for that space and it's going to change this part of town or whatever the case may be. If you made enough money, I mean, Paul and I used to talk about this to where he started buying ego assets, and it was just because he had built a base and he knew that he could go put his name on assets that maybe they break even, maybe they lose a little bit of money, but they're not going to wipe him out because he's big enough now to where he can own a big trophy asset in downtown Salem. And he can just be like, yeah, I mean, he could go buy an airplane instead, but he'd rather own that building. Like, that's his decision. That's what he wants to do. It's what gets him going.
It's a privilege you turn.
Yeah. But then, I asked Paul yesterday, I said, what would you do differently if you could go back to this downturn? Because Paul, he called the 2008 recession. He knew it. He saw it coming. He sold a couple of his trophy assets. He talked about it on our show, and he went and he hid out for a couple years. And then he decided he was going to put his name on everything he could. Well, this last downturn, this last few years, he didn't see it coming. And in his words, he was complacent. He was, maybe got a little too big for his britches. He didn't see it coming, and he was out having too much fun. He was out buying office buildings, buying ranches, and buying all these things that he had never bought before because it got him really excited. But then we go through this downturn, and those are the things that are really causing him to stay up at night. And to me, when I'm 76 years old, I don't want to be up at night worried about stuff. He loves to live close to the edge, and maybe this is just the way he's always lived his life, and so that works for him. For me personally, it's not the way I want to live my life. I want to do things. I want the part that's scary about it to be that we did so many of these deals that they're, like you said, the guy that went from 0 to 27,000, that's going to be the problem, is like, did we build the infrastructure to actually operate 27,000 units? Because it takes a team, and it takes sophistication, and it takes discipline to run a 27,000 unit portfolio. That's kind of the fun for me, is in building something so big, it's really kind of out of your control. It gets bigger than you are. You cannot micromanage it. You have to have the infrastructure in place. You have to build the machine to be able to do that and to grow as that portfolio grows, which could sound boring if you're a dreamer. Like, I don't want to build a huge machine that just buys boring real estate. I mean, it does sound kind of boring. And I watched Paul get bored before, and he said every time he's ever got in trouble his whole life was when he got bored.
Mm-hmm.
You start, well, I want to go do something that's exciting.
He needs more exciting hobbies then.
Well, I'll give you some examples of the distractions and kind of thinking in Benjamin's mindset. So the tower last year, never should have gone down that road. Right, and I'm very thankful that we didn't.
Asked you about that when you talked.
Yeah.
It was sure fun to have conversations about it.
Yeah, but it was
I think
a huge
you're lucky
distraction.
you didn't do that.
I'm super lucky, especially we're like, yeah, my attorney and I were like, yeah, we'll move in it, we'll occupy a floor plate. I would have put so much stress on my business, and it would have used how many capital relationships, and then if it didn't deliver, how many relationships do I lose? Like, what could that have done to my?
Thing was a deal, dude. You should have bought it.
The other thing was, and one of these things, this is the action step, and I actually made a phone call on it today, is the project I bought in Salem. I'm going to sell it. It fucking breaks my heart. I want to do a project.
Cluster thing?
Yeah. Like, that's
one you were going to build?
Yep. Yeah, I bought it. I own it.
Is that not in your lane?
It's in Salem.
Just because the location?
I don't have the relation. Yeah. I don't know this market. I don't have the, like, if I had this in Portland, I knew exactly who I was going to. It'd already be an entitlement. We'd already have a plan. I'd already have a pro forma.
You should just partner with Jaron on it and he'll do it all.
Well, Jaron, I already took him through there and he hasn't even fucking called me back. But I called someone who actually wanted it.
Text Jaron right now.
Trevor's texting Jaron.
So I actually called someone today to sell it because they were looking at it when I was looking at it, and they've bought some other properties from that seller. And I might just either sell it as a loss to him, or maybe I'll approach him. He does exactly what I do. He does ADUs and stuff, and so maybe I'll just form a partnership with him.
So when you say it breaks your heart, do you get emotionally attached to these buildings?
What do I not get emotionally attached to? Well, it's Salem, right? It's just this little piece.
Are you a dreamer?
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely. I mean, I discount how much I do dream, I think.
But a lot of the stuff you're making money on is boring stuff.
He's talking about getting broker's license, starting all these other businesses.
Yeah, but he didn't do that. He was just talking.
Because we yelled at him.
Actually, no, I restarted that.
Same.
And and the reason being is just so I can shut my brokerage down. So I'm going to get my broker's
broker.
Yeah, I'm going to get my broker's license so I can hang it at EXP, so everyone underneath me can line up underneath me, so we have the same infrastructure, but I don't have E&O insurance. I don't have all the garbage with it.
That come with it. Yeah.
Fucking cat tax.
Yeah,
I can
if you're
pay
not
cat tax and didn't make any money.
If you're out doing third party, there's no sense to me in owning a brokerage unless you're going to be. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I own a brokerage, but
and I only do brokerage for coaching.
It makes sense for me, but I'm doing. We're all doing third party brokerage.
And the person that I would be under at EXP is a rock star, like retail agent in Oregon. Super cool lady, and her husband's amazing, and they're just amazing people to be around.
You were yelling at me about MLMs, and you're going to.
Just because I can keep, I can keep my branding.
I see, Mike.
That's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a pyramid scheme. I re-listened to that. I just apologize to everyone for like letting that episode go as long as it did. I don't know why I couldn't hear the words when you were saying them. You're like it's a media ploy, and I'm like MLM Ponzi scheme, and my words kept us deep in this bullshit conversation when you're just really calling it what it is. It's a media ploy. It's a marketing scheme. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a fucking emotional human being.
You've been saying the F word a lot in these episodes. Our listeners don't like that.
He's getting fired up. It's emotional.
That is the real
emotional Mike. That's real Mike.
If I'm not cussing, you're not gonna like what I have to say.
That's one of the funniest things you've ever said.
Jaron just texted me back and he said you didn't follow up with him.
Oh, maybe not.
That's what all contractors do.
I'll put this deal together.
All contractors just gaslight you.
We got two contractors.
You say, why isn't this project done? Oh, because you waited too long to pick out the colors.
Yeah, and it's a bandwidth thing. Like no one on my team can do this. It's something I need to do myself, but I don't have the time to do it because I have other bigger purposes. And so it was a dumb.
So being a broker, hanging your license elsewhere with your people is getting you into your lane, is what you're saying?
It's allowing me to take something out of the infrastructure of my company that is a distraction.
Why don't you just have somebody on your team have a license?
I do.
And funnel their commissions through Rarebird Brokerage Fee LLC and pay a payroll out of it.
That's what I do.
They can be the licensed broker.
That's what I do. Yeah, but I have to pay E&O insurance. I have to file a tax return.
Right. Unless you hang your license at somewhere else.
So if I go to EXP, I have all that stuff, and I don't have E&O insurance. I don't have to file a tax return.
Yeah, I got my E&O quote yesterday, and it was freaking through the roof.
Yeah, that's exactly my fucking problem.
What is this?
Especially when I have guys like Sang who do big deals, and I don't get any of the cut because of the way we're structured.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Taking on a lot of risk, a lot of liability.
The way we structure our brokerage is so fucking stupid.
Wow.
Pardon my French.
Mike said it first.
Pardon my French.
Yeah, we don't care about brokerage. How do we make this really big machine so we buy all the deals, Gabe, and keep it?
It's people.
Yes. So right now, I think not our biggest roadblock.
I'm serious.
I don't know why we didn't buy that deal that Mike's buying. So our acquisition system is broken.
The 46 unit?
Yeah, that should have been our deal.
Well, we didn't hear about it first. Yes. Mike heard about it.
Well, this is one of the brokers I said, "Don't worry, we're not going to structure it like SMI," and they loved that comment.
We just pay cash.
Yeah, we just buy that deal cash. Normal.
Yeah, but if you're trying to turn every deal into,
we don't.
That's not what the word on the street is.
I don't know. We're buying a lot of deals just conventionally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We bought 20 or 30 mil conventionally. So all you brokers listening, we'll do any structure that fits best for your seller and give them the most amount of money.
So the framework that Benjamin Hardy has is perfect for you, Trevor. Absolutely perfect for you. Not for Gabe because he doesn't want to think that way. But if you read that book and then implemented that framework into what you do, you would immediately start cutting a lot of stuff and you'd be focusing on exactly what you're best at and you would perfect that and you would scale faster.
I downloaded it after you said.
So what's it called?
Science of Scaling.
Science of Scaling. Benjamin Hardy. All right. So, Mike's a dreamer. I'm a thinker. What are you, Trevor?
I just want to buy all the deals. But
you can't buy all the deals.
Why not?
I mean, not all deals are deals.
I think all deals are deals, but not for every type of person. But I think we can build this.
We want to buy all the performing, boring deals.
Yeah, I think how I see us doing it is buying as much multifamily in the 50 to or 40 probably to 200 unit space in our area, and then slowly expanding that system outward to surrounding states.
I think you got to look at your motivations. I think that, I've said this before, like you can see the personality in some people. You see it in investors, you see it in brokers, builders, everybody. Like some people are not trying to make money. That's not their guiding light. They're trying to get juiced, or they're trying to get excited, or they're trying to build their street cred, or they want to be the smartest person in the room, or what. I mean, like I think if you really sit down and dissect your motivation and what it is you're really looking for, like you see it all the time in these gurus that get up and teach classes and do this stuff. Like they don't want to own real estate. Like they want to be the guy in front of the class that teaches everybody how cool they are and how they put on a $4,000 suit and they told everybody to go. I mean, everybody plays their own role, and it takes all types to make the world go round. I think that you just got to be careful. Like if you want to be the smartest guy in the room, you're probably not going to be the richest guy in the room, and I think that's kind of the takeaway is like, are you here to make money? Is that what you're here to do? Or are you here to do something else? It might be trying to, I think that's the lane you got to figure out what you're going to stay in is what are you trying to accomplish? Well, if we're going to try to own all the real estate, that's an ego statement that we're going to own all the real estate. It's just the biggest thing we could ever think of doing, so we say it. But is that a dreamer statement or is that a big thinker statement? Like we want to own, I don't want to own all the deals. I want to own all the good deals.
Yeah, owning all the real estate is just the mindset of it's an infinite game that's like a forever thing to do.
It's too open-ended though, because you're not going to own all the real estate.
Until I die, I'll try.
So you're trying to say that there is no finish line. Like if you got to 100,000 units, you'd still keep going because you're still alive.
Yeah, it's the game.
Okay, but how do you get to 1,000 units? Like, I mean, that's the question.
Well,
when you think like I'm going to own,
doing exactly what we're doing right now, very quickly.
And so then you can scale it. You can rinse and repeat. And if you could own 1,000 doors, you could own 2,000 or 10,000 or 100,000. And they do it. There are real estate companies all over the place that are doing that.
Yeah, I think we'll do that without much stress or effort.
But is it for money? Is it for fame? Is it
money.
for...
We like money, and then the joy of buying. Like, I just love real estate. Like, this is what I'd be doing.
So is it joyful to buy a bad deal?
No, we're doing it all for profit. It's all profit-driven, self-inflated.
We used to say in the car business, we say it's all for fun and profit.
Yeah, but if it weren't fun, then we wouldn't be doing it. So yes, correct.
It's a lot more fun when you do a profitable deal.
Yeah, I don't want to go do something I really hate doing just for money, because then that's just a job.
So you want to do something you're having fun at and make money.
While you make money. And then you live a good life.
A good life.
Yes.
Dude, you hit me in the fucking heart with one of your statements.
What?
If you want to be the smartest guy in the room, you're not going to be the richest guy in the room. Dude, that fucking takes me down. I really have pride in how smart I can be.
You are smart. You're one of the smartest guys.
Yeah, but I focus on that more than I should.
Well, I mean,
there's a small self-worth part to that.
So let's break that down.
Yeah.
Is that a bad thing? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's a bad thing. Maybe having intelligence or having wisdom or having knowledge is more a more, I don't know, is that a more noble pursuit than being the richest guy in the room? I mean, I don't know.
It depends what you do with it. Like, are you being smart just to be smart, or are you being smart to pass on knowledge?
Well, Kiyosaki says the world is full of poor, smart people. Like, that's one of his statements.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, that's okay, because if you think about people that are really into academics and like, there are people out there that would rather get the PhD or get another degree or say they went to some crazy good school or whatever. That means more to them in their little trophy case of life than making $10 million or whatever. Like, to them, money is just not as important.
Yeah.
That's not what they're going after. But don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that you're going after one thing when you're really going after something else. If being able to say I'm the smartest, or I have the most experience, or I have this degree, or I went to this school or whatever. I'm listening to Shoe Dog right now for the first time. And Phil Knight it's pretty interesting, because Phil Knight, you would think a guy like him who's entrepreneurial would not be tied up in schools and stuff like that. But it was really important to him that he went to a high-level school, and the people around him went to high-level schools, like education. And then he went back to school multiple times and went to multiple places.
And went and taught.
And yeah, I mean, so education, it wasn't just being entrepreneurial and making money or building a big business that was important to him. His education and where he got it was very important to him. It's not important to me, and maybe it should have been. I went to Chemeketa, and I got to the end of my 2 years at Chemeketa, and they, my counselor called me in, or whatever they're called, and they said, well, you just need 9 hours to get your associate's degree. I don't know what an associate's degree would do for me, but I'm like, okay, what do I got to do for 9 hours? And they're like, well, you got to do PE. And I'm like, screw you. I'm not going to do PE for 9 credit hours to get an associate's degree. And that was the end of my college career.
I think we have the exact same education background, dude. I'm like 5 hours short of an associate's degree.
I mean, when I got there, I'm like, this is stupid. Why did I even do this?
The only reason I went to freaking college to get those is because I got laid off from an appraisal. I was like, I'll go to school. All right, cool.
I will say that it felt like I got a better high school education than I got in high school, but I was glad I did it, and I had good teachers, and I got to take sales and marketing and sales and persuasion and art class and graphic design. I got to go pursue some of the things that I didn't get to take in high school, and I think that was probably good for me. But at the end of the day, I got to the end of my college career, and I was like, well, I already had 2 kids by the time I was 19. So I looked in the mirror and I was like, why am I extending my childhood? Like, I'm not a child anymore. I need to stop going to school, and I need to go make money. And maybe it was being a teenage parent, or maybe it was growing up, in a car business, or whatever the case may be. But I felt like this education, it was the wrong path for me, because I needed to figure out how to make money right now so that I could support a family. And I bought my first house when I was 19 years old. I did a lot of things that young people probably don't do. I didn't do it because I thought it was a smart decision. I just did it because I thought that's what you're supposed to do when you're an adult. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm all for education, but maybe just not for the sake of my ego says I want to be wealthy. It doesn't. There's nothing in me that says I want to show you on the wall that I went to Harvard, or that I am the smartest guy you've ever met. If anything, it's the opposite. I want to prove to everybody that a dumb guy can be rich.
Yep.
And I consider myself, I love to surround myself with smart people, and I always consider myself pretty much to be the dumbest guy in every room that I go into.
But you're the wisest.
Well, maybe. And you know how you get wisdom is by making a lot of freaking mistakes. And maybe you don't make those mistakes if you have the education going in. I like to take action with having maybe not the right preparation for the action, and then I make mistakes, and then I build the wisdom, and I know how to do it because I did it the wrong way. But I have to go feel the pain, just like we talked about in the last episode. I'm not willing to learn anything or grow at all unless there's pain. And so unfortunately I've had to have a lot of pain in my life, and that's where the wisdom comes from. It comes from pain. People don't want pain. People try to avoid pain because pain hurts. Who wants pain? It's not, what's fun about pain? Trevor does it. He goes out and tries to run 100 miles and fails. He can only make it like 90.
I'm going to do it again, though, until I make it.
Run up and down hills.
I already did that. I ran up and down the equivalent of Everest.
You guys are really quiet right now. Like, what are you thinking? Am I challenging you to think?
No, I want to go do some deals.
You want to do deals? What kind of deal? Can you talk about any deals we're doing right now? Because we're doing deals. Yeah. We're doing more deals right now.
What, you're going to placate him now and just move to deals?
Well, that's all everyone wants to talk about. He doesn't want to talk about the human stuff.
This is the Deal Junkies podcast.
No, it's not.
This is
the Life Junkies podcast.
This is just, we're just trying to help Mike out podcast. We're trying to help him get his life put back together here.
Appreciate you guys.
Are you a dreamer?
No, I just want to do deals.
All right, let's do a deal. What do you do? What do you got going on?
Talk about a deal.
We've already talked about our deals. We have something like, we're closing on like 30 million coming up in the next 9
So it's really weird to be talking about how we're going through a hard time, and it's so hard to be in real estate right now. At the same time, we're doing more deals than we've ever done before. And so from an acquisition side, now is the best time. I asked Paul this yesterday. I said, what should we be doing right now in this moment? And he said, we should be buying every deal we can possibly buy. And I said, what would you have done differently to get ready for this moment? And he said, I would have hit out. I would have done what I did in the last crash, and he would have not gone out and got shiny object syndrome and bought some of these other asset types. But he's also 76 years old, and you can only delay gratification for so long. And that's what I told him is like, you know what? You want to go have fun? Like, who's to tell the guy don't go have fun?
Go be a cowboy, dude. Yeah. Come on.
I love the fact. It's stressing him out, which I don't love, and you shouldn't have to be up at night worried about things. But maybe here's the thing. Here's the Trevor part in Paul, because I think Trevor and Paul are the same person almost. Like,
no, Paul cares and has a heart.
He does, but he has the instinct to go buy. He just wants to buy deals. Yeah. He bought a ranch, and he could have bought a ranch, but he went and bought 6 ranches. Like, did you need to buy 6 ranches? That's probably might have taken it just
the Trevor in him.
You might have just taken it a little too far. Yeah. So if you are going to get out of your lane, maybe go buy 1 or 2 things that are.
I think Paul is like me and Trevor. Like, he cried when we interviewed him.
Oh yeah,
but he's very tactical and very huge in his mindset, like Trevor. So he has my touchy-feeliness, but he has the action level of Trevor.
But it's all just spiritual. It's all just like the rates are going to go down at some point, and the market's going to come back, and this is all going to work out somehow. Yeah. Whereas I think you're a little more scientific from the.
Oh, fuck no, dude! No, it has to happen this way. Absolutely. Like, we talked about the syndication, but what I also didn't talk about was, it's the seller's fault, but I do feel like I put a seller in a bad position because I terminated a deal. It was an $850,000 purchase, $20,000 down. He was the one that was going to fund it, the 830, so the wife could do the 1031. And we were talking for the longest time about this deal. And, we came to verbal agreement in early July. We didn't even go into escrow until the end of July. And it was his attorney's review that kept delaying everything.
Is this your old guy you made friends with?
No.
Not your Salem deal?
No, not the Salem deal. It was in Portland. And what he didn't tell me was they were already in escrow to buy the other property. The whole conversation felt like they just wanted to get this going so that way they could go find another property. There was never any point in time where time was of the essence. And then we start going through due diligence, and my budget got significantly higher, and it's like, this takes a lot of capital to then just be a bleeder. This is distraction. I can't have this. And so I just wanted a simple counter, not a reduction in price. I wanted to keep the 1031 in. I wanted some reduced interest rate and no payments for a while. Not a huge change. And he got really mad because he's like, no, I need to close by the end of the month. And then he sent me a really scathing email, and not factual stuff. Like, this is in a historic neighborhood. He's like, this is on the edge. It's not in a historic neighborhood. And so I sent him a link like, no, it is.
So you're retrading them. We don't retrade for all the people listening.
Yeah, I rarely retrade. But I was also very clear with the guy, dude, it's a huge freaking duplex, and I haven't seen one of the units, and I do need to do inspections, and I do need to look at the budget. And the part of it was this rear porch was falling down, and you can fix the settling, but you can't fix the porch. And we're in a neighborhood in a historic neighborhood, so that's
good luck with that.
Yeah, and then he was mad. He's like, well, you put me against this time frame. I was like, you never once told me you were in escrow. I never once knew this was the time of the essence. And if I had known that when your attorney was taking 4 weeks to review our purchase and sale agreement, I would have told you immediately.
Yeah.
But you weren't transparent with me. But then what happened? I terminated that deal, and immediately we got 2 5-week flips in escrow. Like, super simple, Aloha, Hillsboro, really quick flips, really good deals. And so now it's like, well, you just revert the capital to that, and then you go make some quick money. And then the apartment, the 46 unit came at the same time.
Yeah, that's one thing I find is that sometimes when something falls apart, you might be bummed about it, but usually there's something behind it that is better.
Yeah, and don't tell me you don't retrade. Bullshit.
We've bought and we have not retraded.
Bought's not a word.
We have purchased.
The robot. ChatGPT just glitched out right there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
We have not retraded one deal.
Is that true?
Our whole company has not retraded one deal. And we just purchased $50 million worth of
You've never retraded a deal. You've never retraded a deal.
Oh, in my Resi days back, yeah. But right now, the last $50 million a deal we have bought as this company, we have not retraded.
Awesome.
No retraded.
Kudos to you. But you talk about it all the time in commercial, deals not done. You go into escrow, it's different than residential. Like, these are your own fucking words. Like, in residential, you think the deal's done. In the commercial world, you go in, you know the deal's not done.
Yeah, deal's not done.
So retrading is not the devil.
No, and actually, there's a deal right now we may have to retrade, and then Trevor's going to have to eat his words because our budget came in. I think we were being a little too conservative on our second budget, but going in, that's one of the things I want to know is when you go in initially and you look at a budget and you go, yeah, I think we can do this, and then you start to really dig in. Like, what are the things you didn't see going in that caused your budget to be so far off? Like, you should be able to hit it within 10 or 20%, not be off by 100%, right?
Well, and here's the example of knowing. So he countered my retrade, and what he wanted is he didn't want to lower the interest rate, and he didn't want to. He essentially took the same value and said, well, we'll take it off the price. I was like, it doesn't do anything for me. I have to spend the exact same capital. It's still a bleed. And he's like, it's more dangerous for me if we do it that way. I was like, no, it's not. I'm using less capital to get there. I have more cash flow, right? The other thing is it's break even but if we change it this way, keeps the cash, keeps it safer. And the reason of the delay or the delayed few months without payments was because we're now at the end of August, and I'm probably going to have an empty building for the entire winter. And that's your attorney's fault, not my fault.
So is that part of your budget going up, was having your vacancy?
Yeah, exactly. Vacancy. And that's exactly what I told him. And he's like, well, this is more dangerous for me. I was like, no, what you want me to do is way more dangerous for you.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing when you're going into a deal where the seller's staying in the deal, they're going to be either carry a note or they're going to stay in as equity is now you have to really make sure everybody understands we're on the same side of the table.
And that he didn't look at it
because like even if it's a note and you're just my lender, if you put me into a bad deal and this deal doesn't perform, you're at very high risk of a note failing.
Yeah.
It's not a good note anymore.
I should have known when he was scheduling me to drive up there on Memorial Day fucking weekend, knowing he wasn't going to sell it to me that day. Like, from Salem to Portland on a Saturday just to go meet that guy because he was in town, and the first thing he said was like, yeah, we're going to put it on the market. We're going to do 1031 exchange.
You know,
like, that's how you fucking greeted me at the door?
My mentor Brian.
Sorry, I'm cussing.
One of the very first things he ever taught me is that if anybody ever wants you to do something on the weekend, that deal is not a deal. And I didn't listen to him, of course, and I went and met with, I was just brokering deals, so I go meet with people. Oh, we can only meet on a Saturday or whatever, and I'd go meet with them. In the commercial world, it's Monday through Friday, not even 8 to 5. It's probably like 10 to 3. Mm-hmm. You do your business in the middle of the day, Monday through Friday. If somebody wants to meet on the weekend, it's like, I don't know that I've ever put a deal together on the weekend. Although we have found deals that got posted on the weekend by a residential broker selling a commercial property, and we locked it up and said, we got to have this
before
under
Monday.
Contract before Monday because we have another deal we're looking at, and you can make some money that way. All right, are we wrapping it up? Trevor, did you fall asleep? Are you mad at me for correcting your English?
No.
I think he might cry right now.
I think he's offended because I said he retraded.
Ooh. Well, no, he's offended because you said we're with SMI and we only ask for seller carry. And we don't only ask for seller carry.
You don't.
I'm kind of proud of that reputation, though. Like, I'm with SMI. Sorry, we won't carry. It's like, Jiminy Christmas, slow down. Like,
Dave's got a reputation. Dude, I love your new wrap with the beavers.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good-looking truck.
The beaver truck.
That'll
be driving around. Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. SMI doesn't always ask you to carry, so we got other ways.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone understands that's a joke. That's more of a joke.
No, it's actually not a joke because I get this, like I have a new broker we just brought on. He goes, well, I think that SMI has called all these people that I've called because the first thing I say when I tell them I'm with SMI is I say, we won't carry.
Hey,
okay.
You're working every angle.
Hey, and when the deal's closing right now, usually have a seller carry component to them.
And when I've said that to the brokers I've said it to, it was very clear seller participation wasn't part of the deal, and that's a way to build rapport, is to say a joke, and it puts us on the same side of the table, the broker, and making fun of.
I'm going to buy that deal now.
Trevor, how many brokers have told you absolutely 100% the seller won't carry, and then they carry?
And then they do, yeah.
A lot of the time. Because the broker doesn't understand the seller motivations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I bought a deal that said absolutely no seller carry, and we put 3% down, and they gave us 3.5% rate on a 40-year AM. And the listing said, no seller carry in all caps.
Yeah, because that's brokers are gatekeepers for the most part. They can be gatekeepers.
They just want to get paid. I don't know why they wouldn't broach the subject. It's
not all of them want to get paid. Some of them, again, they get out of their lane. They think they need to protect the seller because seller financing's bad.
No, they just don't understand, and they don't want to.
That's what I mean. They think it's bad. They don't understand it. Sometimes they don't want to look dumb, but sometimes a lot of them really think they're saving their seller.
Wow. That's a bad way to think.
No, I saw an opportunity where they lost their client $200,000 from not carrying a contract. They would have took a $1.7 million sales price with a $200,000 note on it, and instead they just took 1.5 flat cash.
Oh, I've seen that a dozen times.
Yeah, people do it all the time. They just lose.
You could have got the same. You could have the same thing and a note. And you just didn't get the note.
Yeah, right.
Why would you?
That's stupid. That's just.
I just don't want to deal with it and get that check every month. That just sounds like a headache to me to get money in the mail.
I love agents. I love brokers, but there is a reason they call them brokers. So they're broker.
That's a Grant Cardone. You just pulled a Grant Cardone right there.
I wish I had his raspy with brokers going to broker.
Broker's a broker. All right, guys. The wheels came off there. I don't know what happened, but we sure have fun recording this podcast for you. I think this might be one of our last episodes in the bowling alley. We'll find out more later. Our new studio is almost up and running. So
if we want to get Jay Scott on before the Fed meeting, it needs to be ready next week.
Well, we might be ready. Maybe not with we'll see, with cameras and everything. We got a little bit more work to do. We're like 80% of the way there. So we will be coming to you from SMI Studios here pretty soon. But for now, we're recording from the bowling alley. That's why you hear people clapping and bowling pins falling in the background. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, Deal Junkies. We love you. Please share us, and we'll see you next time.